We begin our afternoon with Chris Beard from Ole Miss. Chris has won big at every stop along the career journey. Most notably, he led Texas Tech to its first ever national championship game appearance in 2019. He was named the Associated Press National Coach of the Year. Last season, he led Ole Miss to a Sweet 16 appearance in Atlanta. This was the second time in program history and the first time since 2001 the Rebels had made it to the Sweet 16. Chris credits his high school coach, Terry Priest, for steering him into the coaching profession after high school. Chris decided his best path into coaching was to serve as a student manager on the basketball team in college, and now he pays it forward to the next generation of aspiring coaches by offering meaningful career development opportunities for both student managers and graduate assistants. Chris is, and it's emphasized, bold, italicized, very proud of his three daughters. Avery graduated with honors from Columbia University and plans to attend law school. Ella graduated from the University of Texas and plans to attend medical school. And Margot is a freshman in college whose future is wide open in front of her. Welcome to the podium from Ole Miss, Chris Beard.
Exciting time of the year for all of us involved in college basketball. No doubt, a lot of optimism in Oxford, Mississippi with our team. This will be our third Ole Miss team. 16 players currently on the roster, 4 returners. My Crockett Junior High math here, that means we have 12 new players, 3 freshmen in that 12, and then 8 transfers, and Ilias coming over internationally from France. Not really a freshman, not really a transfer, but those 16 players. I think like most teams, we're still trying to kind of discover what our identity can be or needs to be. But I think it's safe to say that depth could be a real ally of our team this year. Of those 16 players, we literally have 13 or 14 guys that are in play here for our first scrimmages and exhibition games coming up. So really proud of what we've built in Oxford in a short time period. Emphasis on we. And then probably the biggest part of we was our past players. So last year, having arguably, the best or one of the best seasons in Ole Miss basketball history, I just forever be grateful and appreciative of our seniors last year. All those guys are doing really well in terms of their pro basketball starts. But I think last year's team just want to recognize, because now we have a new opportunity in year 3 because of what those guys did. I think the success on the court is also bleeding into the program. We have an all-time high season tickets sold as of today, still weeks before the season. Last year, I think we had 3 of the top 4 crowds in Ole Miss basketball history in terms of attendance. We're regularly selling out games now. It's hard to get a ticket in Oxford. So, again, it's not just the success on the court. It's not just the Sweet 16 run. I think our objective was to build a program that can sustain, not trying to be a one-hit wonder in Mississippi. So just a lot of positives right now, a lot of optimism, a lot of momentum right now. Certainly building off what the other sports are doing on campus, what Lane's doing in football is real. And in our program, we benefit from that. Any questions today? Glad to be here with you guys.
If you have a question, raise your hand. Molly or Catherine will get a microphone to you. Coach, we'll start right in front of me here, about 3 rows back.
Ben Roberts, Lexington Herald Leader. Travis Perry was one of your obvious transfer acquisitions. Just what did you see from him in the past that you thought he would be a good fit for your program, and what do you expect his role to be on this team?
Yeah, we had recruited Travis. He's one of the first prospects I talked to literally a couple days after getting the Ole Miss job a couple years ago. So on the entry level of our relationship, had great respect for Travis, son of a coach. Not only a coach, a championship coach. His dad is a great basketball mind, somebody I've always enjoyed talking basketball with. Comes from a sports family with mom and sisters and a younger brother. Obviously, the accolades that Travis accomplished in high school, most notably winning a state championship at a school that had never done that before. Obviously got to coach against Travis last year in the SEC and thought he had a good year. I think a lot of times People associate a good year as a freshman in college basketball as the special unicorn, kind of one-and-done guy. But Travis was one of just a handful of freshmen, along with guys like Klafke on our team, that was really in the rotation for Kentucky all year. So currently, Travis is doing well. I'm on the record, and I'll never get tired of saying it. In my personal opinion, I can only speak for myself, Travis is more than a shooter. Shooter does not define what he can do on the court today, and certainly what he will be able to do as he continues to grow as a player. Still a young sophomore in our league, but we have a major impact role for Travis. We need him to have the best year he's ever had playing basketball for our team to do what we would all like to do in Oxford.
Coach, we'll go all the way to our far back in the right corner. Trey.
Trey Schapp, Buzz Radio Network. Coach, who are some of the other coaches that you like to maybe sit down and pick their brain and try to get new ideas for your program?
Yeah, great question. I think we all have mentors in college basketball. We all have people that we respect and value their opinion. Just off the top of the list, Coach Pitino is a friend, and I don't use that word lightly. He's somebody I have great respect for. He's spent time with our teams. I've spent time with his teams. So he's somebody that I definitely lean on basketball decisions, among many others.
Okay, we have a question up here on the front row to our left.
AJ Storr, obviously an interesting story. Could you just tell me about what you've learned about AJ as a person since he came into the program and kind of what you're expecting from him?
Yeah, I believe in AJ Storr. Not to put all the pressure of the world on his shoulders, but truth-telling program. I think AJ has a chance to reestablish himself as one of the best players in college basketball. Been pleased this summer that there's been some stories on AJ, even some national coverage that sets the facts right accurately. You say, well, AJ went to 7 or 8 schools in 7 or 8 years, but I just really respect the media members that will actually take the time to study it and do the work, and then you'll quickly understand that one of AJ's high schools shut down. Another one was in COVID, shut down. AJ went to play basically for his local high school team his junior year and had a great year, and then had the opportunity to go to a national brand prep school, the same decision that 99 out of 100 student athletes do. In college, he was established at St. John's, but they had a coaching change. That's a part of this business. We all understand that. Had great success at Wisconsin, and I don't want to speak for AJ, but like everybody in our country, you listen when opportunities are presented, and I think going to play for Bill Self is obviously not a bad decision. So, yes, AJ's been to a lot of schools, but again, if you take the time and get the facts, you'll understand that he's never ran from anything. He's a great teammate. He's a great person, not good, great. I believe in AJ. It's obviously a reset year for AJ. He knows that. We know that. We're proud to have him in Oxford, and we're proud, along with his teammates, to give him the opportunity to write the final chapters of his college career in a winning way.
Okay, Coach, we'll go over to the right side. Back.
Coach, you mentioned the depth. Have any guys really stood out to you in practice so far, especially on offense, scoring-wise?
Yeah, that's one of the real topics in our program right now, and there's really 2 sides to the coin. On one side, I can present a positive narrative that we have a lot of competition in practice. Again, I've never entered the season quite in this manner. We play our first closed-door scrimmage on Saturday, and on our 16-man roster, we literally have 14 guys in play. So this is a good thing from a coaching standpoint in terms of competitiveness, depth. If you're going to win 6 games in 3 weekends, which is our goal, in late March and early April, you have to have depth and numbers to do that. On the other side of the coin, we got to make sure the culture is defended. We got to make sure that unselfishness remains kind of the pillar of everything we do. There's going to be some tough moments for probably every player on our roster. As a competitor, you want to play more. But depending on time, score, and game, we're going to have a lot of unselfishness in our program, including our veteran players. But I would definitely say that depth is the first way that I would describe this year's team.
Coach, we'll go straight in front of us, just to the left, second row.
Coach Neil Blackman, Saturday Down South. A lot of you guys with JUCO backgrounds like yourself are kind of a little more accustomed to building a roster quickly, but from a competitive equity standpoint, how difficult is it, especially when you have a team like yours that's still playing when the portal opens?
Yeah, it's another one of those questions coaches can debate. You know, do we want to expand the NCAA tournament or do we want to keep it the same? I think on that deal, look, I think the portal opened this year, if I'm not mistaken, the Monday of the Sweet 16. So there's 16 teams standing. You know, and I don't think any of those 16 teams should really be complaining about still playing. So I thought that was, in my personal opinion, I thought that was about right. You don't want to start it too early and kind of inconvenience the teams that made the NCAA tournament, but you got to open it at some point. So we're a program that doesn't spend a lot of time talking about what we can't control. We try to spend a lot of time talking about how can we win, how can we attack, how can we be successful in the current landscape of college basketball. So there's a lot going on with our game. And again, not to have like Ted Lasso, you know, captain positive all the time, but I'm just not one of those guys that thinks a lot about all the things in our game that are challenging. I still think it's the best game. I think March Madness is sacred. I think college basketball is the best game. It educates players. It rallies communities and states. It takes over the whole world come March. And so on rules like that, we don't spend a lot of time, you know, thinking about anything other than, hey, this is the rule. How do we get it done? Was it a challenge playing when the portal opened? Yes, but we have large coaching staffs. You know, if anybody has some gripes around here, talk to the Division II coach that only has one assistant. You know, talk to some of the low major guys that have 3 or 4 guys on the staff. But at our level, if any coach gets up here and bitch or plays kind of woe is me, I mean, come on, man, we got 12, 15 guys on our staff.
Okay, we have time for a couple more. We'll start over on the right. Myron.
Chris, you mentioned AJ, and obviously we saw how good he was, obviously at Wisconsin and some of the challenges at Kansas. How do you get a guy like that back to playing to his potential and his ceiling?
Yeah. Well, I would say that he was pretty damn good at Kansas, too. You know, when you get 7, 8 points in 15 minutes, that's adequate scoring. You know, if somebody has a player for me today that can average 7 points in 15 minutes, I'll do backflips out of here. And so, but I understand the question. It's a real question. So AJ's got to just reset. I think the first thing is he's got to stay confident. And that's something that me and him talked about in the recruiting process, on the phone calls and Zooms. And then the very first day he got to Oxford, before he ever dropped his stuff off at his apartment, we were talking about that. And we spent 0 time having to deal with that because AJ showed up to Oxford confident. There hasn't been one moment where I thought I could help him as a coach, reminding him who he is. He knows who he is. You know, I think from a basketball standpoint, one of the great things about AJ is his humility. And I'll put this on my 3 daughters. This is the truth. AJ has never said one thing that's even gray line perceived as excuse or negative based on anywhere he's ever been. Him and I talk a lot about the things that he learned from Kansas and from Wisconsin and from St. John's. So he's got to stay confident. He is. And now it's just getting back to playing championship basketball, you know, embracing each possession. I think when AJ is aggressive, AJ is very good. When AJ defers, he can become average very quickly, just like myself or any of us in this room. And so sometimes when AJ defers, it's not in terms of being lazy or selfish. It's just sometimes he's just such a good person and such a good teammate that he'll just kind of defer a little bit. On this year's team at Ole Miss, we need AJ to be aggressive. We need him to be aggressive on the bench, talking to his teammates. We need him to be aggressive in between plays, huddling up his teammates. And certainly every possession, he needs to impact that possession. No different than our other veteran players as well.
Take one final question back left. Patrick.
What's going on, Coach? Good to see you. You look fantastic. Anyone that watched you guys play last year saw the potential that Malik Dia has. But there seemed to be moments and times where he didn't really know, am I going to shoot it more? Am I putting it on the ground? Am I back to the basket? Because the talent and the ability is all there. How have you coached him up this year to figure out, especially with having so many new guys on the team, of what he needs to bring consistently day in and day out?
First of all, I appreciate you recognizing my dress code today. I don't get that much. I'm the 4th best dressed person in my 4-member family behind the girls. Obviously, when you coach with Coach Yo, we all understand her fashion game, elite. I'm actually a little bit insecure here. Here's what happened this morning. Same suit I've worn the last 2 years at SEC Media Days. Thought I grabbed a dress shirt, but I didn't. This is one of those casual shirts, you know, like that a Jeff Goodman type guy wears with the jeans and the sneakers. And so the collar's been coming up all morning. I'm really concerned about this look right here. So, but I appreciate you saying that I look decent up here. Malik Dia, you know, I'm on the record and never get tired of talking about it. I believe in Malik Dia because he cares. Malik Dia doesn't love basketball. He's addicted to it. Second to only his faith and family. This is what this guy does. He sleeps about 8 hours a day, 24 minus 8. Getting back to my Crockett Junior High math, I think that's, what is that? 24 minus 8.
24 minus 8.
What's 24 minus 8?
24 minus 8.
16?
16, you got it. 16?
Where'd you go to school? No, so Dia's got 16 hours in the day, and he just pours almost every single minute into basketball. He gets prepared, and so that's why I believe in him. I appreciate Dia because he allows me to coach him as hard as any player I've ever coached. Why do I do that? Dia has high expectations. Dia believes he can play in the NBA. Man, that's a strong statement. I do too. Neither one of us thinks it's going to be easy, but that's where our compass starts every day. What Dia has to do to kind of elevate his game is he has to learn consistency. I think we can make a highlight tape on YouTube, and I could argue Dia is a first-team all-conference SEC guy based on the highlight tape. He's got to get consistent. Some of that last year as we studied every minute and every possession he played this offseason. Conditioning was a factor last year. And I think he did a great job getting himself in elite shape this offseason, not only running up and down the streets in the mountains of Oxford. Yes, Oxford has hills. Diet, nutrition, sleep, mental toughness. So I believe if Dia gets consistent, he really could be one of the best players in the SEC.
Coach Beard, thank you for your time.
Thank you.